Leonardo, can I welcome honorable members and the support staff that are here. Leonardo, the agenda is been put on the screen. Can I get the indication from members to adopt the agenda? We have included the briefing by the Department on Human Settlement on COVID-19, which was not part of the program, but we've put it in. So can we get members to agree on the agenda?
I support the agenda, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Can I get the seconder?
I second, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. I'll take this opportunity to request members to observe a moment of silence for meditation and prayer as we remember those that have passed on during this difficult time in our country, and those that we wish them a speedy recovery. With those, can we observe the moment of silence?
Chairperson, can you, Chairperson? Sorry, Chair, your mic is muted.
Thank you very much. Can we get you to note the apologies that you have?
Thank you, Chairperson. I have no apologies for members of the committee from my side. I do have apologies from the Minister as well as the Deputy Minister, who will unfortunately not be able to join us this afternoon.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair.
Which
Honourable Powell.
Can wait, Honourable Powell. I've seen Honourable Mahlobo in the system. GM Mahlobo is in the meeting.
Yes, Comrade Chair, I'm here. You dragged me to the meeting, remember?
Yes. Okay.
I respect your command, leadership.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Honorable GM Chwete was still joining. So, Honorable Powell.
I'm here, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Chwete.
Honourable Semenya, may I proceed?
Yes.
Honourable Semenya, not to start this meeting off on a negative note, but we have on so many occasions previously as committee members requested and been given the undertaking of yourself as the chairperson and the acting Director General and Deputy Director General of the various departments that we will be respected in this committee and be sent the committee documents with enough time to allow us as members to interrogate the contents of the documents. Now, I note that this committee received the Department of Human Settlements presentation at 10 o'clock this morning and the HDA's presentation at 11:30, giving committee members 30 minutes to interrogate the documents in full ahead of this committee. Now, we're tired of platitudes on this issue. May we request the Director General or the Acting Director General or the Deputy Director General to give us a full explanation as members as to why we have not received these documents with enough lead time, given that this meeting has been planned for over a week now. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you. DG? DG Lishabani or DM Chwete?
Chairperson?
Yes,
Chairperson? Chairperson?
yes, I'm listening, Honorable Musala.
Okay, no, thanks so much once more. The other issue is with regard to the absenteeism of the minister. The minister is forever not in the meetings. Every day we get apologies. Can we get an explanation why the minister is not in the meeting today? Can somebody explain the apology? What is the apology for? Where is she? What is happening? Thank you.
Chairperson. Chairperson.
Yes.
I also want to say something.
Okay.
Chairperson, I don't agree that we should adopt an agenda which has included presentations, that have been sent to us at 10 and at 10:30, because we did not have enough time, to peruse them, to go through them. That is very, very much unfair. And you know very well that the committee has long, repeated this request of being given presentations on time. And then we've been given empty promises. This is very, very much unfair. So, Chairperson, please, let's discard those two presentations. They shall be discussed some other time. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's come back to that one, honorable member, because it's very must get the feelings of other members. Can we get the explanation of the apology of the minister? Leonardo, you have apology? Leonardo?
Yes, Chairperson, we did receive an email from Ms. Tai with the apology of the minister. If you want me to go, I can check it for you if that's what you would like me to do.
Yes, that's what the meeting wants to know.
I'm just trying to find it for you. Just 1 second, Chairperson. Chairperson, the email states that by direction of Minister Al Sisulu, kindly be informed that the minister will not be able to attend the portfolio committee meeting scheduled for 21 August due to a bereavement in her family. We would be very grateful if the minister's apology could be considered favorably. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, that is the apologies, honorable members. Can we get why the document that was received in the night? I know that Leonardo, you are standing on behalf of Poliswa, because on Sunday we received documents. What happened the yesterday ones?
Chairperson, you are correct. Some documents were sent to members on Sunday. I also saw an email from Kuliswa having sent some documents on the 19th. The documents I received and which I sent out, I also received yesterday. Some of them were resent from previous email, Chairperson. That is all I can indicate in respect of the documents. At about 11, 11 this morning, there was an HDA updated presentation, which I also forwarded to all members of the committee.
Okay.
Chairperson, Honourable
Chairperson.
Powell.
Can I chair the meeting, honourable members?
And please also recognize me, Chair.
Chairperson.
So the
And just Chair, okay, no, it's fine. It's okay.
okay. There is that explanation of the minister, the bereavement, the issue of document, honourable members. As I've said, Leonardo confirmed that Koliswa have sent. Maybe let me start by saying Koliswa is not in the meeting today because it's off sick, is hospitalized. She has sent the link and the document on Sunday.
Chairperson, it's Honourable Powell.
Can I finish, Honourable Powell? So the ones that have been sent today, maybe is it the new or new document or the same document?
No, Chairperson.
Honourable members, can I get members to talk to this thing so that we finish, because now it's interaction.
Honourable Semenya, may you recognise me? I haven't answered to your question. The documents, I'm looking at my emails. The documents that were sent on Sunday by Collie were the 20th at 5:23 p.m. Those two presentations were speaking to the second agenda item, the Vaal River intervention and the Roval wastewater treatment works. The documentation that is relating to HDA there was a bunch of letters that were sent to us at 7:30 this morning. That was the EAAB and etc. But the presentations, DHS, the Department of Human Settlements presentation for this meeting, the first time that this committee received it, and it's not a revision, the first time that we received DHS's presentation was at 10 a.m., so 2 hours before this meeting started. We then received what's titled an updated HDA, Housing Development Authority presentation, less than 30 minutes before this meeting, 29 minutes before this meeting. Now, I understand Khalees was on leave, and it's not the committee secretary's fault. The committee secretaries are brilliant at their work. It's the department that is sending these documents late. So, I mean, this is so exhausting. We don't like to start our meetings off on these negative notes, but Chairperson, there's no ways that we can interrogate these documents, formulate our question, talk to our constituents about the information that's contained, and robustly engage this. We're paying lip service. Why are we here? We're here to interrogate robustly. We can't do that with 30 minutes notice, Chairperson.
Honourable member, Honourable Mohotu, and I've not noted you. I was coming to say I've let you talk because I cannot interject you. Honourable Mohotu suggested that those documents, that's why I wanted to confirm with the Secretariat what happened to those documents. Honourable Mohotu suggests that those documents that we just received today, let's discard them on the agenda. We'll put them in the other time. Is it the feeling of the House that we continue with the agenda without those, and maybe department must
Can I come in, Chairperson?
Chairperson, we've been handing our hands up. Can
you recognize Chairperson?
Can I, Honourable Mokotu, you have put suggestion. People I want them to speak on your suggestion. You want to speak again.
The response is wrong. It's totally wrong. The response from the Department of Human Settlement is wrong. I concur with what Honourable Mokotu.
Honorable
The official who was speaking right now is not telling the truth. I concur with what Honorable Powell has just stated right now. Thank you, Chairperson.
Honorable Mokoto, I've not even noted you. I'm asking people to talk to your suggestion that because there is a confirmation from Honorable Powell that's and Leonardo that this document on human settlement have been received today. For the Sunday document didn't have the document of HDA and the Department of Human Settlement. We discard them on the agenda. So can we get members to talk to that suggestion? Honorable Sifai.
Yeah, can I speak to you after the meeting?
Honorable Sifai.
Morning, everyone, and morning, the officials and the DMs present. Just to perhaps contribute on the issue raised by Honorable Mokoto. Yes, the view that the colleagues are raising is relevant on the basis of the late arrival of some of the documents. But where it could be unfair is when we are all on lockdown and some of the officials are not well, are in quarantine, and few officials are busy dealing with the departmental reports. I would appeal to my colleagues that let's proceed with the items, and then where we feel that we can't advance our views, it is only when that we talk about deferring the items. It is going, perhaps it could be irresponsible of us when we know that all departments have got scanty staff, and it's not easy for them to be able to present extensive report to us because of some of them are not present. It's my appeal, Chairperson, that then where we're not doing justice, then it's when we talk about deferral of the items. Thank you, Chairperson.
Honorable Sifai, members indicated that they were unable to go through the documents because they've received very late. We should not put force people to discuss something that they don't know, which might give us a problem. Then we proceed with item number 2. If other members, I don't want us to go even with something that is logic and straightforward. Members, they've not received document time, therefore they request that we discard those those agenda that they receive they've not received the report in time, which is a fair request, and as the chair, I would want us that will move to item 2 and discard that item number 1 in the next meeting, because members have just this document will have enough time to go through it, and when we'll squeeze it in we'll put it in the because for members to engage with the document. Can we move with that understanding, honorable members?
Chairperson.
Chairperson.
Chairperson, I totally agree with you. Let's refer that report back. If we don't take a stand on this, we will get these problems going forward for the next 4 years. If we don't get our documentation in time, then we cancel the meeting and they must pay the cost for these kind of meetings, Chairperson. That's the only way we're going to get officials to make sure that we get these documents in time so that we can prepare ourselves for this meeting. So therefore, I would support you in this, that we refer back this report till a later stage.
Thank you, Honorable. Will come in, Honorable Zeki. Zeki. Honorable Zeki, you raise your hand.
Thank you, Chair. No, Chair, we hear, although I've got some technical problem here in and out, we hear what the colleagues in relation to the agenda and the preparedness of them. We think that let's continue with the meeting and allow the department to make presentation. If there are issues that they could find beyond today, they will raise those issues during the matter as arising, and we are going to give them an opportunity, more enough time. I would propose to you, Chair, to give them more time for them to peruse, but for the next meeting when we deal with matters arising. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Masala.
No, thanks so much, Chairperson. You know, it is very irresponsible of the department officials and acting DG and deputy ministers on this issue. It can't be an excuse on this continuous behavior. Chairperson, this thing is happening every now and then. It's not a new thing. It is not a new thing. So we come here today, we must always condone this irresponsibility of the officials and their ministers. We're not going to accept that. The issue of documents, we've been talking about each and every meeting, this matter of receiving documents late is being highlighted in these meetings. There's not even a single day where we don't highlight this issue. They don't take us serious. We can see. They don't take us serious. They send documents late so that we don't have enough time to peruse them so that we can interrogate on issues. We are not going to be treated as children here. We can see all their behavior. Exactly this is what they are doing, of not respecting us, disrespecting us. So I suggest, and actually I support those that are saying that this matter must be deferred. The issue of the human settlement documents, the agenda, it must be discussed in another day. Maybe you can even arrange a special meeting where we'll discuss about these issues. And the official responsible for this irresponsibility must pay the cost. It's true. They must pay the cost. Thank you.
Thank you, honorable members. Honorable members, I've said that, and I want to pursue ANC members that we agree with members not to discuss the item that they've received the document late. And members, you know, when I requested you to adopt the agenda, was based on the item that in the last meeting of water, I've explained that there was the letter from the chair of chair which says we must prioritize these issues so that Parliament can then be able to discuss them. And we put this issue on. We put the issues of the COVID-19 on the agenda recently. They were not part of the program. So there is nothing wrong if members, they are saying, we have not received the document in time, let's wait to discuss them at the other time. That's at least we have actually asked the department to present, and they did that with the short notice that they've received on this matter. So let's proceed to item number 2, because there is no transmit on the issue of COVID-19. We'll get another time we'll get the slot and time to come and discuss them, because members they are not ready on the item. But on the item that was sent on Sunday, we are proceeding on it, honorable members. Can we proceed with the meeting in that note?
Chairperson?
Yes, Chair.
And the other thing that we would like to request, the meeting must not take long to happen. At least, please promise us that you're going to arrange another meeting of special form for this item, because when you say maybe the other day, we don't know when is it. Maybe it's going to happen because it's COVID issues. We want to know what is happening. So can we? Hello?
I can't commit. Our days is Tuesday and Friday. We are going to request any other slot. I cannot promise that I'll have the meeting. If we are not getting the slot, we'll discuss them next week Tuesday. That's our day. But we'll try to get the slot to prioritize the matter, honorable member. The slot of the committee is Tuesday and Friday. Can I?
Thanks so much.
Honorable members, can I get the?
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Secretary. Can I get?
Yes. I think, Chair, let's agree, Chair. My apology. Let me just finish my point, Chair. We are agreeing with you, Chair, but we are just saying it should not be a precedent. From time to time, there will be reasonable reasons why documents are sent at a particular time. We know that, Chair, as we agree that we should postpone this item, in future, in particular, Member Mhlala may want to raise the same thing to say, you remember on such and such a date, this is that has happened. So we are taking a decision based on the current material conditions. Every time as and when we take decisions, it will be based on facts on the ground. Thank you very much, Chair.
I think you must withdraw. You are misleading the meeting now about my name. You must withdraw what you said about me. Chairperson, he must withdraw. He's misleading the meeting about my name. I always challenge correct thing here. I mean, I'm not a puppet. I talk when things are wrong. I'm not a puppet. I'm not going to come here and watch you doing wrong things and you say, Honorable Mhlala is going to give this precedent. If they are doing correct things, no one is going to refer this to defend us. The member must withdraw. I'm not what he said I am.
Member, you are not recognized. How do I
Sorry about that. Sorry about that, Chairperson. But please recognize me.
Honorable, you have spoken already, Honorable Mhlala. You know, honorable members, it's you who reminded all of us that the committee is the extension of the House. And therefore the rules applies even here. We should respect the meetings of the committee and give each other respect that we deserve so that we proceed properly. We don't have even to want to behave like, in a manner that causes us to use the rules of the committee to exclude members in the meeting. Please, let's respect one another. It's our meeting. It's our interest, all of us, to take part in the meeting. So I'm requesting members that please respect this meeting because it's extension of the House. The rules still applies here.
Chairperson.
Honorable Mhlala.
Chairperson. Yeah. I'm saying we need to call Honorable Tseki out of order about what he said about me. I'm not.
I withdraw, Member Mhlala, that part of your name.
I'm
But the
always
principle is the same. I just withdraw the part of your name, but the issue that I'm raising stands.
I've never been the thing that he's saying I am. I don't just challenge for the sake of challenging, Chairperson. I challenge because I can see there's a problem. The issue of getting documents, we discussed it long time ago in this committee, and we agreed that we must get them 3 days before the day of the meeting. Thank you.
Honorable, we have not said 3 days. We said 24 hours. 24 hours are 3 days, Honorable Member, because tomorrow is 24 hours.
Honorable Semenya, it's Honorable Powell. Will you recognize me, please?
Okay.
Just to concur with what the Honorable Mushlala has said, we have spoken about this at length in committee, and not to labor the point, it's not 25 to 1, but 24 hours is not long enough. If I look, I've counted the number of documents being sent to us just on the DHS presentation. There's 10 documents, right? 24 hours, none of us, no one, I can tell you no one in this meeting has time to read 10 documents in 24 hours. So the general rule that we have agreed to before is, and it's reasonable, we're not being unreasonable, is 3 days before. So not to belabor the point, but can we, Honorable Chairperson, I'm still talking.
But if you say general rule, you have agreed with whom? Because I don't know that one. I know the 24 hours. So if you want
Do you have time to read 10 documents in 24 hours as well as a 10 constituency and parliament? Because I certainly don't. 3 days is reasonable, Chairperson. I'm not going to belabor the point any further.
So I know 24 hours, and that is what is going to be guided, unless if it's changed. Can we proceed, honorable members, with the agenda of the meeting? Can I get the department GM?
Chairperson.
Honorable members, who have wasted a lot of time, can we proceed with the meeting? Honorable Mahlobo, you are on the platform. Can you present?
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson, and to members of Parliament.
Chairperson, DM, please wait.
No, Honorable Member, we have discussed the issue of the document. I've not given you platform. Allow the DM to present. You'll talk later. Honorable DM, present.
No, thank you very much, Chairperson. I have the team that is led by the acting DG and the team to make a presentation on the subject matter that you have requested us to do when it comes to VAL and including Tshwane. And the document has been circulated, and also greetings to Comrade Honorable Mampemchwed, our Deputy Minister for Human Settlements. Let me, through your permission, Chair, allow the team to make the presentation to members. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deputy Minister, Chairperson. We are ready to present the 2 documents. I will be assisted by 2 of my colleagues, Sboom Tembu, who is our regional head, and Gauteng is ready to present the part on the Vaal River intervention. And the second part, which is on Rooiwal, will be presented by my colleague, Gilberto Martins, who is our administrator in the city of Tshwane. Without wasting much of your time, Chairperson, I'm going to ask Sboom Tembu to lead us on the first presentation. Thank you very much.
Tembu.
Chairperson? Chair?
We can hear you. Proceed, Tembu.
All right, thank you.
Mthembu.
Yes, Chair. Can you hear me, Chair?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yes. All right. We have presented the problem statement before. I think if it's slides and concentrate on the key slides that we've covered the problem statement at committee 4 3 the objectives as well.
Chair, I'm not sure whether you can hear Mr. Mthembu. I'm losing Mr. Mthembu. But if you can hear, Chair, I'm fine.
Can you hear me, Chair, now?
Yeah, it's better.
It's better.
Yeah,
All
we
right,
are
thank you.
Just stay closer to the mic.
Much better.
Thank you
that's
very much.
Okay.
All right, the objectives as well, we have covered them in the previous presentations. This chart is a depiction from our engineers in terms of the network that we are dealing with. It covers the areas of the treatment plants and the pump stations and how they're interconnected. I don't think we should dwell much time on this one. It's just for engineers planning too. Chair, we have discussed as well this slide on the findings that we had on the ground. Unfortunately, the presentation is moving very slow, but the overall findings in terms of the next slide, of the safety and security, the bulk sewer network spillages, as well as the critical pump stations and the rising mains. We have also covered, Chair, the areas around the refurbishments of the treatment works, as well as operations and maintenance. We are on slide number 8. If you can move the slides. If I can move on, Chair. The implementation plan we did cover, and I don't think, I don't want to waste the committee's time in terms of the implementation plan, in terms of the VAL intervention. However, Chair, the part that I'd like to concentrate on is on slide number 12, on the presentation that was sent. This is the governance arrangements that have been established in this project. Chair, it starts with the political steering committee meeting.
Can we have slide number 12 on the screen? Thank you. Slide number 12. Thank you. Can proceed, Mthembu.
On slide number 12, Chair, it covers the political steering committee. Basically, this is the committee that governs the overall decision-making in terms of the project execution. The last meeting was about 3 weeks ago. It was chaired by the DM with all the mayors, the MMCs, the MEC, all the political structures that is involved in this project at a district level. Chair, in Gauteng, as you have seen in the last visit that you had, you visited both Citibank as well as West Rand. As a result of your visit, Chair, a decision was taken that the political steering committee for the West Rand, as well as the political steering committee for the Citibank, will be combined into one committee. So all those decisions are taken by one committee. As we have one DM, one ministers, one mayors in terms of the districts. So we had both a combined political steering committee of West Rand as well as Citibank. Below that, Chair, is the accounting officers committee, which is where the DG is chairing,
with all the accounting officers. We had this meeting of the accounting officers about 2 weeks ago, where certain decisions in terms of the operations of the project were taken. We also have the head of METSI, which is a municipal entity of Mfuleni in terms of the operations and maintenance of the network. And then below that, we've got a technical steering committee, which is formed by all the technical people from all the institutions above, as well as lastly, we have the subcommittees, the work streams, which deals with the day-to-day issues. We've got communication work stream, you've got technical work stream, we've got the audit, you've got O&M, etc. If I move on, Chair, to the next slide, Chair, we took the work, the full SRSS, the full valve project of sewer, and we chopped it into 26 work packages. These work packages were costed by our engineers in terms of what are the estimated costs. We had done this work, Chair, just before COVID. We came up with the estimated budget. If you recall, Chair, early this year, we told you that the estimated cost for the refurbishment would be 1.1 billion. That was based on the SANDF cost estimate as they were here. Now we brought in our engineers to do the actual costing of each item that needs to be done. And our engineers are coming up with a budget of 22.2 billion for the full works, as it has been broken down into 26 work packages. These are the work packages, Chair, that you see on screen. I should just mention, Chair, that the last 3, 24, 25, 26, these are the critical works that are currently on, that have happened. If you recall, Chair, when you were there, you were held at ransom by a community that demanded employment, that they were promised that they would be employed in this scheme. To date, we have started with the employment of the 600 community workers, of which is divided into 300 of the community workers, and another 300 are the WARN Leagues graduates. The program that was run by the department in terms of the WARN League, because we wanted to bring them in to assist in terms of some of the leakages into the network and assist us in terms of the training, electrical, some plumbing related work. They've got the red seals and we wanted to utilize them to the scheme. The other 300 are just purely community members that are living around and are affected daily by the sewer network. The 25 is the work that has been done, Chair, on the unblocking work. I'll present later on in terms of how far we are. And then number 26 is the security. Chair, the security is quite important in that part of the country because we have sustained a lot of theft in the past. And even now, the security still gets attacked, shot at by some of the business forums who go and attack them and demand to work in the plant without necessarily following all the processes. So security is quite a serious issue, Chair. We have also engaged on the security side, the security cluster in the district, in terms of them assisting us with the business forums that are forever mushrooming in that part of the province. So that is the part, Chair, on the security. The full budget that we have for this work is around R1 billion, which is a budget that we have secured. The slide is not moving, but it should be moving soon. I'm trying to move the slides, Chair. There seems to be hanging. If I can just talk, Chair, maybe it will move as I proceed. On slide 14, on slide 16, Chair, we basically all the work packages that we have. There you go. all the work packages that we've had, Chair, they come to about a budget of R1 billion. Chair, I should mention that on your DORA, you'll see that you have a budget of 750 million. Due to the costing that was done by our engineers, professional engineers this time, which we came up to a budget of about 2.2 billion. We have reprioritized some of the projects, some of the big projects, so that we can at least have R1 billion that we're starting with in this financial year to solve the issue of this network. Chair, the remaining of the budget, Chair, we're still going to request through the necessary processes. DG will request the process with Treasury to add more funding. And we'll also look at some of the reprioritization of the budget from other slow-moving projects so that we can have more work done. Now, Chair, I know that the question you'll ask is, we are almost half of the year and we have not moved. Chair, we are putting all speed to ensure that at least we can spend the allocated budget and do some significant damage in terms of the fixing of the network. We have gone through all the 26 work packages. They've gone through the BSC, Bid Specification Committee of the department, and they are now sitting at head office at BAC level for the final decision so that we can advertise. I should mention, Chair, that we are advertising a panel of what do you call it, a framework contract, so that we can get as many people as possible so that later on we are not delayed by the SEM processes. We do admit that we have been affected by the delays on the procurement process, which we intend to resolve once the tenders are out and fast-tracked. Chair, I should mention that ERWAT has ended their contract with the department. They were appointed for an amount of 141 million, of which they've exhausted and done some work. We felt that we needed to centralize and bring all the projects under one roof. I should mention, Chair, that this is a two-part program. We have an upgrade program, which is handled by Water, which is dealing with increasing the capacity of the sewer plants to treat more effluent. We also have a refurbishment program, basically to getting the networks to be in its original state as it was designed. So these two programs were handled by two implementing agents, which is Water on the upgrade side, and the refurbishment was handled by ERWAT. We have then decided, Chair, to bring both programs into one house so that we can speedily respond to what the portfolio committee mandates us to do in terms of fast-tracking some of the work. So Water has already given us the documents to seat all contractors to the department. ERWAT is in the process of giving us all the documents so that we can have all the contractors sitting under one house and being run and managed, especially, Chair, because we want to go for this, what we call a big bang approach, spending R1 billion in 5 months. We need a very dedicated and focused management structure. I think on number 14 on the work packages deals with the program portfolio office. Number 14, program portfolio office, Chair. This is the capacity that we're bringing to the department to assist us to manage this system speedily. You'll note, Chair, that we had SANDF, we had ERWAT, we have practically lost 2 years into the refurbishment program. Now, we cannot take, or the DG has instructed us that we cannot be acceptable that we keep on giving excuses why work cannot be done because we're subjecting all the decision to the implementing agents. We must bring it in-house, and we establish a project portfolio office that will assist us to fast-track all the works so that we can meet the expectations that are out there. people of the Valley have been waiting for far too long, living with the sewer, and we need to get some significant movement going. Also, Chair, in number 15, I should mention this, that the Deputy President, when he called the meeting of all the premiers and the mayors that are polluting the Vaal River, he gave us a task that we needed to do a detailed assessment of all the wastewater works that are polluting Vaal River and the streams that are decanting into Vaal River, so that we can have a realistic estimate in terms of costs and capacity on what is needed to fix the pollution and fix the Vaal River. Because Mfuleni is not the only polluter into the Vaal River. There are other municipalities that are polluting Vaal River, which have not done that are not advanced as we are in terms of the of Mfuleni and the work that has gone in there. So, Chair, if I can just run through the progress to date. ERWAT started working in December. They appointed 10 contractors, and they've done significant damage in terms of the bulk lines that have been cleared. They've also cleared and replaced a number of manholes, 46 manholes, and they've removed over 50 tons of rubble. With the June report, Chair, they've also cleared the sludge in the 3 wastewater works, Sibokeng, Lugale, as well as Richspruit. They've emptied what the big tanks that you saw, Chair, coming in, the PSTs, the primary cyclic tanks. They've cleared those ones because some of them had weed growing because it's a nutrient-rich environment for the plants. So, but they're not functional. So we've removed in Lugale, for example, out of the 6 that has been cleared, 2 are functional currently. We are looking at in terms of getting the other 4 into be functional, to be operational. In the Richspruit, we've also been cleared as well as the Lugale. And the Huminas tank has also been cleaned, Chair. On the last bullet, Chair, Randwater has completed the construction on Module 6. This is the upgrade site now. In Sibokeng, it has costed us almost R1 billion, Chair. This Module 6 is due to be commissioned next month. Currently, Randwater is training the staff of Mfuleni in terms of how to manage and run Module 6. It's a 50 megaliter module that is adding into Sibokeng. Sibokeng has got Module 3, 4, 5, and 6, which is a new one. Module 6 is a Rolls-Royce, Chair, is very well built. However, we do have, for example, issues around capacity to operate and maintain this module, because Mfuleni doesn't have enough manpower as well as skilled manpower to actually manage this Module 6. So one of the issues that the Minister and DG instructed us to do was to look at a capacity arrangement that can be brought in to assist METSI to be able to run Module 6. Chair, the Module 6 was supposed to be commissioned in July. However, because of public protest and business forums, it's still not commissioned yet. It's due to be commissioned next month. There was a huge strike in Mfuleni around electricity provision, and it affected also the work that we do. As a result, the commissioning had to be moved to next month. I've mentioned the issue around METSI. Chair, METSI has been proposed. The minister has actually suggested to the political steering committee that METSI should be made a standalone entity of Mfuleni, which is a municipal entity just like Johannesburg Water. It reports to council, but it's a standalone. It runs its own business. It accounts for its own funds. Chair, there, the plan for establishment of METSI has gone to Section 80 committee, has gone to council, has gone to mayoral committee, is now due to go to council for endorsement. we are pushing this one, Chair, because Mfuleni has many problems. Currently, any assets that you give to Mfuleni is likely to be taken over by anyone, including ESCOM, because Mfuleni is owing a lot of millions to other suppliers. Now, hence we wanted METSI to be a standalone entity that has its own business that we can support, even including giving assets. For example, part of the intervention, Chair, was that Mfuleni does not have enough equipment, trucks and bakkies to do some of the unblocking work and cleaning work around treatment works as well as pump stations. So we wanted to, part of this program, to procure 2 combination trucks and 3 trucks and 3 bakkies, so that the staff of METSI can move around and deal with some of the pollution that you see on the newspaper now and then. Because there's a lot of pollution on the reticulation network. And that pollution, Chair, is not necessarily our immediate focus, because our immediate focus is on the bulk lines, the treatment plant, the pump stations, and the bulk lines. Now, the reticulation network, the small pipes that goes in between people's houses, that is a work of METSI to unblock. That's the one that is causing a lot of problems currently. And now we want to give METSI this equipment so that they can deal with these things. Staff of METSI, they do say to us, because we meet with them weekly, that they are not fully utilized because Mfuleni does not have equipment for them to move around. So we are busy dealing with that issue in terms of how to give them equipment. We do have a few challenges around some of the organized labor in terms of not understanding and supporting the program, because there's a feeling that whatever equipment that we procure, we must procure and give it to Mfuleni. Now, we hit a bit of a deadlock with organized labor on that one, because we felt that we can't give equipment to Mfuleni when that equipment is going to be taken by ESCOM or anyone else, because Mfuleni is owing. We want that equipment to work in the sanitation network so that the community of Val can derive value out of the system. Chair, if maybe, Chair, the rest of the presentation is quite straightforward, Chair. I should just mention, or maybe end with this slide. There were a number of commitments that were made, Chair. The first slide talks to the 600 people. They've started working. The plants are looking very much better than what they were before, because there's been some clearing. What you saw when you went there, Chair, you will not see that when you go there today, because there's been clearing of the grass, and we're still looking into other works. For example, the paving around on the road. As you went into Simokeng, you were on the gravel road. That road needs to be paved. The other inlet roads need to be paved, and the paving around the structures that are there, the PSTs, the SSTs, the BNRs, they all need to be paved. And we're looking at the community doing that work, because we also have been instructed that we need to work on labor-intensive approaches. As a result, this is what we're trying to put in this program, to make sure that the community, we can hire even more than 600 to do some of that work. There is also an issue around the PPE for the staff of METSI. Mfuleni does not have the budget for it. What we have done, Chair, we've prepared a memo to Treasury through DG to request Treasury to reclassify some of the budget. We've got R1 billion. We want to reclassify 300 million of the R1 billion from capital capex to OPEX, basically to be able to deal with some of the operations and maintenance work that needs to happen there. Because if we do use the capex fund for OPEX, AG will have an issue with us. So we wanted to get approval from Treasury so that we can move that 300 million. Part of that 300 million is to buy PPE for staff of METSI. This is not your standard PPE, Chair, that you see under COVID. This is overalls that are flame retardant, acid retardant, the boots that are protective with a steel shoe, the goggles, the heads as well, that are compliant with the wastewater environment. It's not your standard PPE. So it's not also gonna be, you wear it once and you throw it away. No, this one lasts you a year if you're taking good care of it. So because as we go there with our own PPE, we work with staff of METSI who does not have PPE, who are wearing their personal CVs. I'm sure, Chair, when you went there, you saw some of the staff members, they were wearing their normal clothes. And we can't have that when we're there. We need to ensure that everything that is on the waste plant is compliant. The last bullet, Chair, is the commitments that were made to the community around the co-ops. Community has formed the co-ops. There are about 11 co-ops to date. And these co-ops are due to benefit as we build the program going forward. As I've mentioned in Sibokeng, we are commissioning Module 6. We should be starting before end of this financial year with Module 7, which is another 50 megaliter. The cooperatives, we're looking at working with them to benefit from some of the work that is not so highly technical, so that there could be more people that are employed through the cooperative mechanism. Chair, we will start with the Module 7 before the end of this financial year. The designs are complete. The design for Module 7, the new wastewater works are complete. I should just mention, Chair, on this one, while I'm talking about the design, that Meyatin has been on hold. However, we are reallocating some of the budget because we want to get that plant in Meyatin going before the end of the financial year. The contractor there went under, he went bankrupt. Now we're working on appointing a new contractor to complete the work, at least start before the end of this financial year so that we can get some movement in terms of that plant. It has been sitting for some time and we are quite worried in terms of the integrity of the structures. The last bullet here, Chair, is the commitment that was made to train 2,250 people. These are the training for about 6 to 8 weeks on vocational skills, what is used to be called vocational skills, basically plumbing, plastering, bricklaying type of training, so that we can use some of the people of the VAL to work in other areas, just like we're doing with WARN leagues. We bring them into the program. Also, this training will be, these people will be brought on to do some of the work on the network. We still have a long way to go, Chair. The overall upgrade program is costing about 7 billion. That is before we had this abnormality of COVID, where all the prices suddenly skyrocketed. So we had this, we actually need a budget of 7 billion rand to finish the upgrade program. On the RBIG, the Regional Bulk Infrastructure Grant that we're receiving is very small, Chair, to be able to do a significant completion of this whole network. As a result, we are engaging with DBSA to look at some of the options that could be done. For example, there's what is called, loosely called front loading, basically using the grant funding to leverage some of the fundings that could be received from the bank. We're working with DBSA to actually assist us with the packaging of this work so that we can come to Treasury and come to yourselves for support once the program is clear in terms of how it's going to be done, how it's going to be paid, and how the program will go. Because we don't have 7 billion rand on the national fiscus. As a result, we need to be creative and look at other options in terms of how we're doing that. We are doing the same thing in Tshwane. Gilberto, when he presents, we'll cover this. We also have about 15 wastewater plants in Tshwane, which the city does not have the budget to refurbish all of them as well as upgrade them. Hence, we're looking at and talking to DBSA in terms of how can they come through to assist. Now, on the city side, we're using the USDG to leverage that funding. But on the RBIG side, especially for non-cities, municipalities, the districts, the locals, we will use the RBIG in that as a formula. So, Chair, if you allow me, let me stop there. The rest of the risk and mitigation, Chair, I've presented to yourselves before. So it's quite straightforward, Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tembu. DM Mahlobo, do you have anything to add before we proceed to?
Chair, we'll suggest that we take the other one quickly. It's a shorter one because they are interlinked in terms of the visit you made. And then from there, we'll then hand over back to you for engagement. I will come at the end, leadership. Safe to say that on the next one, with your permission, we will be giving even a progress report, which is also the latest, because I was on site about less than 48 hours ago, just to do the monitoring of some of the things that you came and noticed that they were not going well in Rooival. And we can confirm that now the team to do the upgrade and refurbishment, they are on the ground. There is progress being made, even if it's slow, but at least we've started, because remember, this municipality, there are challenges around governance. The municipality is being placed under administration, but at the very same time, there are certain litigation issues, but we are very pleased that the administrators are more focused and work is happening there. But with your permission, we'll give it to the DG to hand over to Gilberto to just do this shorter presentation, Your Excellency Chair. Thank you.
DG.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. I'm not going to waste much of your time and the members' time. I'll ask Gilberto to lead us in this presentation. Gilberto, over to you.
Thank you, DG, and thank you, Chair, and good afternoon, members. And thank you for the opportunity to give you progress on the Rooival Phase 1 upgrade. If we can go to the next slide. The next slide, Chair and members, it gives you an overall picture of what Rooival, the extent of what the Rooival wastewater treatment plant is. It indicates, obviously, where the various areas are, where the wastewater treatment takes place. Just if someone could move this to the next slide. That's it. Thank you. If it shows you there, and if you look in the middle where it says module 1 to 3, that's where the current work is taking place, and you will see it later on. Obviously, the digesters on both the right and east side are also going to be looked at, as well as the drying slabs on the overall. Interesting thing about the site, Chair, you will see on the right-hand side, there's the power station, which is not functioning at the moment. So this site, besides having vast amount of land around it, is certainly a hub of ability to deliver services. Unfortunately, Rooival first phase was built in 1956 and the following phase in 1970. And since then, there's been no real addition.
My apology, Chair. Gilberto, try to ask those who are helping you to put it on slideshow so that it can be a little bit bigger through your chairs for our eyes that are aging.
Thank you, Deputy. I'm not controlling the presentation. It's someone. That's it. There you are. That's the best I can do. Thank you, Deputy Minister. My apologies, Chair. So as you can see, that middle portion there is really where the work is that you'll see later on. The power station to the right-hand side. On the left, you've got digesters, and on the right, you've also got some digesters with the drying slabs. But in principle, started or built in 1956, phase 1. Phase 2 was 1970. Since then, no additional new work has been done, basic maintenance. However, as we know, that area surrounding it, that whole area to the north and the northeast of it has certainly grown. If we move to the next slide, just to give you a basic background, we know that it's situated, the Rooival wastewater treatment plant is situated on the Arpies River. And it receives waste from Attridgeville, the centre of Pretoria North mainly, and then obviously also the Rossland area. So it's certainly a very, very important strategic wastewater treatment works that was designed. Unfortunately, obviously, with the growth and development, it was originally designed to take 84,000 kilograms per day, where and a hydraulic load of 110 megaliters per day. That's what was the original design capacity for the plant. Obviously, it has an outfall sewer from the Rooiwal, which goes towards the Rooiwal West and Rooiwal Northern Works, which then feeds the western side of the city of Tshwane, and equally the Rooiwal East Works feeds the eastern region. So it plays a pivotal role and certainly is a very, very important wastewater treatment plant. Next slide, please. The next slide indicates what the status is and the problem statement that we find there. As I indicated previously, it was designed to take 84,000 kilograms per day. Unfortunately, or fortunately, with the growth of the area, it's receiving 143,000 kilograms per day. That means on the organic overload and the chemical oxygen demand, we are 70% overloaded on that. So even with the plant running at its maximum capacity, because of the load that's coming in there, it's certainly undercapacitated. On the hydraulic load, we 110 megaliters per day. We're actually pushing at 130, which is the average dry. So that's what's coming out. There we're 18% of the hydraulic overload. What this has a negative impact immediately is on the discharge to the Arpies River, which unfortunately, and as the department has informed and has obviously written to the city of Tshwane, certainly to the legal action, that it does not comply with the standards. Because what it does then is downstream, it becomes a problem, which has equally a negative impact on the timber purification plant, which is servicing Hammanskraal, but I will discuss that in a later slide. So clearly what happens is substandard effluent and obviously the excess of sludge, which is going into that river. So therefore, the intention of these upgrades, and it's a 4-phase upgrade, is to create additional treatment capacity, but equally at the same time to ensure that whatever gets discharged from there is in line with the requirements. The next slide. There we see it summarizes what the phase 1 is. Now, Chair and members, this is a 4-phased approach. Since we took over the project in March, as you are aware, there was numerous litigation which took place. The project was on hold. The contractor was cancelled the contract. Unfortunately, when the city of Tshwane cancelled the contract in September, since then nothing happened. They went into litigation. The contractor then won. We were then told to reinstate everybody. And as on the 26th of March, the city went into administration. It was sitting there. Unfortunately, it hadn't moved. But fortunately for us, the work has been done and everybody has been appointed, hence the progress that you will see later on. Now, what is the first phase going to do? It's costing about 360 million rand. That's the contract price, which is the same as the original contract price. But what we did is we realigned the work to make sure that it produces quicker and certainly is more effective. So you'll see on that slide exactly what we're doing. It's the inlet on the northern plant. It's the reactors, the digesters on both the east and the west plant. Obviously, the dewatering facility, which there are some pictures as well, and obviously the northern plant. So that is phase 1. Phase 1 will then operate optimally. It will still be able to operate at its capacity, but obviously the load capacity is still a lot that's coming into that situation, and I'll talk about it in my last slide. So what is the objective of what the project on phase 1 is doing? The plant will be run normally, be back to its full capacity it was designed for, and equally, I've now also requested a full maintenance budget to go into this particular plant, both currently to see what we can do, because the plant has not stopped. The plant is currently active, and therefore we've had to reroute sludge water, but I will talk about that as well. So obviously we're going to improve the quality of the effluent, so that will certainly not pollute the river going downstream. It will meet all the National Water Act requirements. That's exactly what we need to do. And more important, Chair and members, if you went to Temba Water Treatment Plant, which is providing the Hammanskraal area with water, which has got the capacity there to deliver, is also being hampered by the quality of water it is receiving from the Rooiwal. So once the Rooiwal has been cleaned up and the phase 1 is operational, is better water going into Temba, better quality water coming out to the residents. So that's certainly the double edge that we're looking at. And also, we are looking at the overall studies in terms of the Arpis River and the Leeuwkraal Dam, where we get the water coming through. So it's very important that both upstream and downstream care is taken of this particular causeway. Now, what is currently up to date? You'll see there's the contract has been appointed, the consultants are being appointed, the implementing agency is the Ekurhuleni Water Care Company, ERWAT, and the reason is that the city has not got the capacity. Unfortunately, due to other contracts that were in place and which were terminated, there is not the capacity, so hence the Ekurhuleni Water Care Company will be doing or currently doing all the project management, and obviously safety agents have also been appointed. The milestones, as you will see in the table below, we did lose some time because it was supposed to start on the 26th of February, which would have given you an earlier completion date, which would have been the 20th of February 2023. Unfortunately, due to various litigation issues, you will see the contractor only commenced on the 4th of October, and that was post, he was stopped again. So, so unfortunately, he was only started back on site just after March this financial year. We've tried to shorten, or we've shortened the period to 24 months as opposed to 36, and the site handover is projected at the 9th of March, around about 2020. As we sit today, as at 15th of August, it's 17% completion. Equally from the community and the social responsibility, the PSC has been appointed, the CLO has been appointed, the LDO has been appointed, and the EPWP processes are in place, including the 30% subcontracting to the local community. Now, subcontracting is clearly indicated in the contract, and the contractor obviously will deal with that as a formality. So it's not people arriving on site and saying we want to work. It's a process of how to, and with the CLO and the LDOs, to ensure that the 30% local subcontracting is taking place. Now, Chair, just to indicate to yourself and the members that while all this is happening, obviously water, the scarcity of water and the quality of water is not being compromised, and temporary measures have been put in place. There are water tankers delivering water continually to the residents of these areas, and equally the farmers have come together also to assist with providing clean water in the areas close to the communities that they are bordering on. So it's certainly a broader project. However, there are at times disturbances on the site, and that is people demanding work, which unfortunately does happen because it hinders progress. And equally, we do have at times theft. We have done a full, and you can see from the first photograph that I showed you, we've done a full security settlement. The contractor has got security on site for his works and everything he's responsible for, but equally the city of Tshwane now are looking at security to secure the entire site, because the site is very vast and you can climb in it anyway, on the northern end particularly, and then make your way all the way to where the work's happening. Unfortunately, that's what happens. If we look at the progress, Chair, there you'll see the picture. That picture there is of the new primary settlement tank, and that's where there are heavy organic metals, the heavy organics will settle. That's the first step, and we're down there, and that's all been done. That's on its way. So that's the new tank that's being put in place. If we go to the next slide, we will be looking at a bypass pipeline, which we've had to put on because we can't close the plant. So what we are doing is, as the wastewater is coming in, we are bypassing it. We're bypassing it into a holding tank while we refurbish and retrofit the digesters and with the sludge areas. So that's why we've had to put this bypass pipe to continue to service the equipment. And if the next picture will show you the bypass pipe that's being laid. And then if we go to the next one is the digesters. As you know, these digesters are quite vast in volume, and you can see them there. They started to empty them. It is to be obviously all be retrofitted, cleaned out to make sure that they will be able to then be able to do the work that they're supposed to be doing. And the last picture on the next slide is they start to strip all the filter belts where they split the dewatering processes, and all of that is in place as well. All of this while the plant is functioning. And if you go to the plant, you will see that it continually is functioning. COVID obviously had a negative impact because we knew that when COVID came in, obviously there was the lockdown, but since going on to level 2, they've increased their capacity, but certainly we did lose time. We lost time in terms of numbers of people on site and obviously the ability to do the work. But it has been addressed, and as at level 2, they have increased the capacity, and the program chart will indicate that as well. If we then go just briefly to getting to the closure, occupational health and safety, all been taken care of on both fronts, both on the construction site and the COVID. So the screening, all the regulations are being followed of people coming on and off the site, including the security measures, as I indicated earlier. On the social matters, which are very important, there are 3 wards that border the edge of Rooival. It's Ward 94, 96, and 93, if I'm not mistaken. We've ensured that certainly the CLO, the LDO, the Project Steering Committee emanates from those wards. The contract has equally appointed a security company which emanates from those wards. Yet, often we still do get stoppages of people demanding work. However, we do deal with them through the MEC's office, the stakeholder management, and the City of Tshwane stakeholder management. In conclusion, Chair, currently, as we said, it's 17% complete. Occasionally, we do have disruptions on the site, which makes it difficult for the contractor. But the minute that we are alerted, the TMPD, the Tshwane Metro Police, are sent there, and equally SAPS have been very kind and certainly also focused to assist to ensure that we can continue with the work that's important. Chair, the last areas that I'll just touch on briefly is that this is one of the 15 plants, and the critical thing certainly is that the wastewater treatment works work certainly interconnectivity. So it's from one to the other. It's the river systems, and certainly what Tshwane is currently looking at is a complete overhaul of the 15 plants. It's critical because those 15 plants, it's certainly the housing developments have grown, and one would need to then get effectively to review each one of them, put in a proper maintenance plan. And lastly, as you're aware, the Lanseria Smart City, which is happening to the west on the Lanseria Airport side, there's also going to be the possibility of building a brand new wastewater treatment plant, which will accommodate for all the development in there, which obviously includes 4 wards of ours, which is about 20% of Tshwane, City of Johannesburg, and Mogale City. I think if I'm covered at DG, thank you very much.
Chairperson. Chair.
Yeah. Yes.
No, thanks with the presentation. One of the things that we wanted to indicate, Chairperson, is that while all this good work is happening, the challenges we know are not actually going to be addressed immediately. One of the challenges that we should know is that the plant continues to receive those high volumes of sewer water into the plant, which is above the 150 megaliter design, which is more than 150 million, running above 160 million liters. And that water continues to be partially treated. And that problem, we are not going to hide that problem remains. The very same thing with the valve. Pollution is still a matter there, and it has a big impact. That's the observation that I thought we should be able to indicate. And secondly, in terms of the intervention that Gilberto is talking about, they had made a promise that you remember the reactors where the sludge must be actually going through the aeration there where the oxygen issues were not. And I was promised that in a week or 2, they will start working on it. It's not an easy exercise because that's why that diversion canal is being made so that at least we can reduce those volumes, because those chambers that are there, they are carrying a lot of volumes. Each is carrying about 20 megaliters. Therefore, the issues, as I was saying, Chair, they are still remaining one of the concern. And we're very pleased that they are working with the DG for water and the DG for human settlement and DBSA and Treasury. They need to look at the question of the upgrade of the infrastructure, because even if we spend so much money there right now, the system will always be shocked because it was not designed for such volumes. Therefore, the upgrade and the creation of the new capability, including the Lanseria Airport, which is the new seat, those are the things that they must be able to move as a matter of urgency. And on site, we're very clear to the leadership of Tshwane and everywhere we go that in as much as we're supporting these municipalities as the law requires us to do in terms of Section 154 of the Constitution, but the regulatory function of the department, which is around issues of water resource protection, we are going to be able to use the stick and the carrot approach, because ultimately we can't be accomplices when the environment continues to be polluted. But I thought we should be able to indicate that. And the municipality has also indicated that they are continuing providing water through that temporary measure. You remember, Chair, where the tankering services are still there on board, so that those communities of those Hammanskraal and surrounding areas continue to receive water. We even know that certain farmers are also contributing using their own boreholes in terms of communities around Apis. That's the addition, Chairperson, that I thought we should be able to indicate that progress is made, but we need to hurry up and we need to come back and give you the acceleration plan with clear timelines, Chairperson, so that you can be able to do your oversight responsibility. With those words, honorable members and your excellencies, I thought we should be able to share that. Thank you.
Thank you, DM and your teams. And we want to take this opportunity to thank for the progress as made, and we'll then invite honorable members to speak to the presentations. Both of them, I'll start with Honorable Mashego. Honorable Mashego.
All right, everyone. The weather forecast predicted stormy Transylvanian skies tonight, so be sure to fly carefully. Oh, wait, I forgot my backpack in the kitchen. I'll be right back. There it is.
Yes, we can hear you, but your network is very bad. Can you?
Okay, thank you very much, Chair. Yeah, Chair, thank you very much. I think I want to thank the presentation as made. I'm listening and hearing a bit of good sounds from the words of the two presenters, especially given the history that we had of having gone to Rooiwal, also having gone to Val. What is DM, I sense a sense of the willingness, the willing horse to do work in the officials that are presenting in the document. And there is a little bit of objectivity on what they say. What I really do want to ask from you, most especially Deputy Minister, is the political will to help the administrative will that we hear. Because if you listen to if you remember where we were when we started this department, given what was happening in Val, and you have seen what is happening, and you see what they are presenting and what they are saying, they are not thumb-sucking what they say. They respond to things that were said. For instance, the issue of the war on leak brigades that we were complaining about, who were consistently being said as a thorn to the mind. 300 of them are employed. They are still going to be employing more. from the community point of view who were complaining about being not employed. 300 of them are employed. There is still room there. What is necessary, I think, from what the officials are saying to us and yourself, DM, is that we must help them to fight the political battles of our own comrades and friends in Val, especially those that are stopping the project, those indeed that are thugs there who are shooting at our people who are doing work in order for them not to do work, for them to can benefit from the wrongs that are happening there. So what the officials are asking, and I think we must support them, how willing are we to work with them to circumvent this problem that is holding us at ransom in Val, given the fact that, and we must even, DM, this issue of someone believing they are managers of government is wrong. The ruling party, which is yourself, the ANC, and even the municipality itself, must put their foot down to say that we are not going to do things according to SAMU. SAMU is a union. They must do as we say to them to do because they are employees. And of course, we must fight with thugs that are consistently demanding this 30% business, what that they do not even have. To me, in Val, there is progress that we need to sustain. We must be very specific, where you need intervention as soon as possible, come forward and ask that intervention. And all political parties that we are with in this department can be of help to want to help you to bring about stability in that area. In as far as Roy Valley is concerned, exactly, anything they talk about Mahlobo is something we know, is something we have seen, is something we aspire to happen. But for as long as we are not going to help them politically, we are not going to help them administratively, we are not going to help them even to fight with these cahoots that are just stopping progress according to our people. And if it means, remember at some point, I remember Member Powell did raise a point that why don't we hear somebody say, we want to take all the money we have and do one big project in Royval and correct it and for the year and say that the next year we'll do something else. For us not to continuously harp on one point. And my assumption, Chairperson, my Chairperson, is that there is progress, we must agree. Tomorrow must never be told Gilberto is no longer there when he speaks the language we want. We must not be told that Sbu is no longer there when they speak the language we want. Let them do the work and finish. Otherwise, to me, there is progress. Let's support these officials, give them political support, administrative support, and I think we can tomorrow, in a year's time, we can talk a better language. Thank you, Chair. I'm finished, Chairperson. Yo.
I'm being muted. Thank you very much, Honorable Mashego. Honorable Basson.
Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you for the presentation. I'm also happy to see that we are moving in the right direction and that there is progress on the Val as well as on the Rooiwal. I sent the Deputy Minister some pictures or video clips that was taken yesterday at Rooiwal. I'm a little bit concerned. I know that, it will take time to fix it, but it seems that they are letting out sludge out of the settlement ponds that goes into the stream down to the Apis River. I have forwarded that to the minister. I don't know whether there is another way of dealing with this. So if the department maybe could inform us or Mr. Martins, why are they doing that? Because those are not treated correctly, and you can see there's a lot of sludge that's also going out of the settlement ponds. And I need some clarity on that. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Honorable Masala.
Can I be noted as well, Chair?
Yes, Honorable. Thank you, Honorable Masala.
No, thanks so much, Chairperson, for the opportunity. I won't compliment now. Maybe the other day when we see progress happening, because there is progress, but we have not yet seen the result yet. Because we want to see our people at Hammanskraal on the so-called Temba water treatment plant working properly so that our people cannot drink contaminated water. Until we see our people drinking clean water, that is the day we'll start to complement and join the rest. My first question is, can we please be provided with the progress report on what City of Tshwane is doing to rectify and upgrade the system effectively to treat effluent discharge with growing demands in the area? We need to understand the operations and maintenance of the system post-upgrade and the setting aside of ring-fence budgets to ensure future protection of water resources. And the same question will go to the Vaal River, on the Vaal River system. The directives issued to influence the municipality by the Department of Water and Sanitation on contamination of the Vaal has not yielded full compliance. As part of Department of Water and Sanitation oversight on compliance of effluent discharge, what other mechanism, apart from issuing of directives, can the department institute against non-compliant municipalities in terms of contamination of water sources in the country? Thank you.
Honorable Masala, Honorable Tseki.
Thank you very much, Chair. Look, we are doing a great job. But the question is that what
It's very bad.
We are told of
Comrade Chair,
waste.
Comrade Tseki is doing what Mtembo was doing. We can't hear him now.
Honorable Tseki.
I'm trying
now we
to
can hear you. We can hear you now.
Okay.
Proceed.
Thank you. Chair. No, I'm saying, Chair, this is a great job. But the question is that why is this job done now? It can go further to say we are doing it to Vaal, we are doing it to Tshwane. Are we doing it to Metsimaholo? What is happening in Kunu? What is happening in all other wastewater treatment in the country? And I'm afraid, DM, I hear you are saying carrot and stick, but I just see a carrot. I've not seen a stick. Yes, the carrot is coming in. We need to see this stick, Comrade Chair. We need to see consequence management. We can't continue to do this all the time. And I think what Vaal is doing, maybe Mr. Mtembu, we have been talking about cooperatives, Chair. I know, Chairperson, you are very, this is very close to your heart, the issue of transformation, inequality, unemployment, and all those. If the approach of Mr. Mtembu could be, could be contextualized in the document forwarded to you, Chair, let's learn that. Because what they are doing, it could assist us to do this in other areas, or we can learn from other areas where a more advanced form of transformation is done than what they do. But because now we have theirs, maybe Chair, we can learn a lot from them, and then let them share with us in documentation what they have. But I really want to emphasize DM. Let's see the stick as well. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Zeki, Honorable Powell.
Remember, Powell is dealing with human settlement matters.
Okay. Honorable Mahoto.
Thank you, Chair. There's now a serious pollution issue at the Val Dam in Dennisville. The cause is the Metsimahulu wastewater treatment plant into Dennisville. The plant is unable to cope with the amount of sewage it receives. How systematic are your monitoring of gauging systems, as this appears to be a critical challenge in ensuring the avoidance of sewer spillages? Which unit in your department is tasked with managing gauging stations? What challenges are being encountered? How many litigation cases has the Department of Water and Sanitation dealt with, and at what costs to the department on these two issues? Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Zeke.
Oh, thank you very much. Let me join other members in appreciating the progress report done in both Val River and Roy Val Chair. I think this is a good work.
Chairperson, our apology, Honorable Sis Grace akazwakali kahle.
Angizwakali.
Now it's better leadership.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we do. We do, Honorable Zeki. Just be very close to your mic, yes.
Oh, thanks. An apology, DM and the team. Chair, let me start. I'm also joining other members in appreciating the work done in both Val and Roy Val, Chair. But I must also emphasize that the department must be able to communicate to be it residents, the communities around, or to the country in general, to say this is the work that has been done, because there has been an outcry of Val River and all the villages and the river, the Hamastral community complaining about dirty water that they've been drinking. So we must find a way of communicating to the people to say this is the work that we are doing. And definitely in the near future, that's what we are intended to achieve. And then secondly, Chair, we all know that our infrastructure is in poor condition today, and it's costing the country a lot of money because of municipalities that do not have capacity and dedicated budget to deal with the maintenance of the scheme. I therefore, and I think I'm presenting this on behalf of the portfolio committee, that I wish that we affirm the DWS to utilize to deal with the infrastructure maintenance and all water-related projects around change. Because if we don't do that, I'm telling you, come 2 years, come three years, we'll be interacting and dealing with these challenges again. This project change. So I therefore confirm that or affirm that let DWS utilize Mr. Aleko. And then thirdly, Chair, I think it is also important, DM, that parallel to this intervention or work done in the Vaal River, we should also fast track the assessment of on the streams that are polluting Vaal River. Because if we don't do that, we'll continuously, or these rivers will continuously pollute the Vaal River chain. And again, all those who are polluting, be it the mines around Vaal or wherever they are, you must be able to punish them. You must be able to pay the fines that are made for. And lastly, Chair, I think I must also appreciate DWS and Trini municipality because they are finding each other now. Unlike before, where Trini municipality was talking the other language and DWS talking the other language. I must appreciate the work that they are doing together so that our people can get better services. Thanks, Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Zeki, Honorable Mvana.
Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. No, I would like also now to comment the work that has been done, knowing exactly what happened, Okanye, what was happening in these areas that we visited. Of course, we are still looking forward. There's still a lot of work to be done. But for now, at least we need to commend and say, well done job. The worst part of it, that makes me to be very happy on my side, is to hear about the people that were toying in that area, that at least something has been done, which we hope as the portfolio committee, there's still more to be done. And we wish a well for the team that is doing the job. Thanks, Chair. Otherwise, so far so good. The other members have covered me with the questions. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mvana. Honorable Tafeni.
Thank you, Chairperson. Greetings, members. Chairperson, the report of all is clear. If it is the true reflection when it comes, we're going there to see. Because all things are sorted when it comes to talk here. But outside there, you see the other things are not sorted at all. So I thank you, Chairperson. That is the only comment that I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Tafeni. Honorable Sefai.
Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you very much. In appreciation of the presentation, I think the presentation is well presented. How I wish that all the things that have been said are well done on the ground, and also understanding how was the project when we went there on both Vaal and Rooiwal. One issue, Chair, I would imagine that given the challenges of that municipality, the program as it is now, the department is moving very well with the municipality in terms of transferring skills within the program of a district development model, so that the issue of monitoring is not necessarily a issue of the department, which is not so near the project. Well, the project is within them. So it would be proper perhaps to hear, Chairperson, that is how are they working with those municipalities so that we leave legacy at the end of the day. Otherwise, viva very much, viva, viva. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Connie.
Thank you, Chairperson. I want also to appreciate the presentation from the department and thank the leadership of that department. Chair, I wasn't part of the delegation, but through the interaction in the committee, I also want to appreciate progress so far, especially coming to the mitigation of risks within that project. But also just to make a general comment about vandalization of resources, state resources, especially like the plants in the country. I think it's very, very important that, like the department says, they have started to involve stakeholder. They've got a stakeholder management plan, which will have educational and awareness campaigns to also have community participation, which is very, very critical. Because if the communities are not taken along, there is a serious risk of that vandalization. But if they are part of the whole process, they are actually even able to own the very resource which is available to them. They are able to understand that this plant is for our own good as a community. If we vandalize it, where are we going to get clean water? So I'm very, very grateful for that. And I think it's also very important that the security must be tightened. I don't know how are we going to do it or how the department is going to do it, but we need to strengthen security at those points, because if we don't do that, we'll forever come back and say government is not delivering, there's no water, when we know that exactly that we as communities are the ones who also contribute towards vandalization of such resource. So I'm very happy because even the mood here in the committee says different. It's very, very important that department must talk to the public, especially from this department. We cannot forever just listen to negative stories about the Department of Human Settlement. But where good is showing, we must be able to say it and we must be able to talk to the public about it. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Honorable Connie. In my system, I don't see any other members. Do I left any member who has not spoken? Okay, thank you very much.
Chairperson, yes, I am here, but you have not recognized me, and if all questions
no,
I've been
okay.
covered, I've been
Oh,
covered
my
by
apology,
previous.
Honorable. Okay, my apology, Honorable August. In my probably I've not scrolled it. I've not seen you. I'm very about it.
No, thank you,
are saying,
but my questions have been covered. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Maybe let me check. Honorable Ngwe. Honorable Mapika. Thank you very much. Means that I've not left anybody in the system. Can let me add the voice of welcoming the report. Our visit, for nothing. At least today, we're talking different language. In the issue of VAL and Velasi and the DM and DG, the work that the Deputy President have started of assessment of who are the polluters, I want us to move with speed to finalize it. The principle of polluter must pay, it should be implemented, because for now we are targeting VAL and the municipality around VAL, but you still have other provinces and private companies who are polluting VAL, and they are not being mentioned. I think it will be fair and important that we do finalize the assessment, and I know that Treasury has allocated funds for that. We should finalize that, and as we do that again, there is issue of the resident in VAL. There are a lot of ships that are going up and there, and most of the ships, they are using the oil, which to pollute the river. I want to know what is going to happen as we clean the VAL, as we refurbish those stations, pump station and your water treatment stations. What is it that is going to be done with the residents of VAL, those that are using those ships? Thanks to them, we use their ship to move around to see what is happening in VAL, but those ships, they use oil, which themselves pollute. So what is going to happen with them? Because as we clean the VAL, it then should be maintained clean, and we should not allow the situation in Twinberg to the same point, because of the South Africa has signed the memorandum to participate in climate smart equipment to restore the climate. We should then start with the water affairs, must start with the Vaal River, because we are putting a lot of investment on it. We welcome the appointment of those people who have aged, because we couldn't even finish we couldn't see those pump stations that were built by soldiers, because in the meeting we are happy, and we know that cover everybody in the areas. But we want you to be very smart as you do these things. Like those that are in the cooperatives, they should not participate in the employment, so that you cover a lot range of people around the VAL. We welcome even the appointment, the deployment of the those students that were put on hold for quite some time because of the failure of the program, and now that they are going to be, it's a well thought thing. The other thing, and DG, the DM, the issue of declaring VAL as the national key point, just to check as how far are we as we put this lot of investment, and we want to acknowledge the security plan and that you put in place, and which we welcome it, and we hope it will be like the one that we have seen in Merafong, where the alarm system have been put on the ground, where they put pipes so that because of the vastness of the area, if the security move this way, criminals, they are very smart. We must move with them and be able to track them wherever they are. So I've seen that what happened in Marafo as a good thing, that it must be shared with other municipalities, and with Royval we should do the same. Royval and Val we should do the same, and welcome again in Royval. The process, even though the process is still very slow, we want to acknowledge the movement at that, and agree to the issue of security. We must tighten it up, because we cannot afford to invest for the thugs. And the issue of labor unrest, we should continue to engage them and remind labor what is their role in the as labor movement. They should not actually want to be there is a defined role in the public service. You have executing authorities, you have the DG, who's the in terms of the PFMA, who's the the accounting officers, and you have employees who must execute as the plan it's been put in place by those that are in leadership positions. I think we should engage them, and I know that within the system of the labor movement, there is a lot of rot that has came into place like that. And the issue of criminals must be criminals. It cannot be emphasized as other honorable members have been raised. And we want to welcome the report and say that we acknowledge the progress. And I think because we have not seen some of the substation as we are there, as we pass through the gate of Gauteng going to our areas, we'll actually arrange some in 2-hour visit to go and see some of the work that has been done there, so that as we complement, we complement with the view that we've seen things are happening on the ground. And because if you see the challenges that sometimes experienced by the Ekuruleni, it doesn't affect the ERWAT, their work that they do. And it will be important even with this, the entity of VAL to manage the VAL River system. But the other important thing, if it's become the national key points, then it must resume the national importance as we continue. I'm just saying, as we build it and assist them to capacitate them, it should be with that discussion must unfold, so that at the time there is that declaration, then we don't have a problem of labor unrest in the whole process. Thank you, DM and your team. You can now allow your team to respond. Who can be led by you, DM.
No, thank you very much, Your Excellency, Comrade Chair. I'll request that the DG and the team, they can start, and then I'll immediately come after them, Your Excellency. DG and Comrade Gilbert and Mtembu. Mtembu. DG. Mtembu. Mtembu. Gilbert, are you there?
I'm here, Deputy Minister. I can proceed if you allow me.
Please proceed in the meantime. Then Comrade Mtembu will follow you through the permission of the chair. Then the DG can come in. Then I will come and wrap up our response and guidance. Thanks, Chair, through you.
Thank you, Deputy Minister, and thank you, Chair and members. To Honourable Basson, I'm unaware of the photos that you've received, and certainly if I can get that information, I will immediately look into that, because one of the outputs that ERWAT have got is to monitor not only the operation of what's happening at the moment, but also what's happening physically. So if I can get that information, certainly I have not received it, and certainly it didn't happen in the last 2 days because we were on site. So I will follow it up straight away. So I'd appreciate it if it's through the DG or DDG's office or myself, and I will follow it up straight away. If I can then move on to the next, Honourable Masala, just on the Hammanskraal, the important thing about timber is, I need to say this, and I didn't say it in my presentation, is that currently, even though we're doing this work at Rooiwal, we are looking at how we can improve timber immediately. The possibility of a package plant and looking at the quality of the water. As we know, it's got capacity to push 80,000 80 megalitres out. It's pushing them, or 120, it's only doing 80. So even though we're working at Rooiwal, we're currently also looking at timber and alternative methods to make the water of a better quality. On you raised 3 questions, I think important questions. What is Trini doing to accommodate the growth in the city, and particularly in the areas which are being affected? Currently,
sorry, Administrator. Can I request that I'm told there are members who the system has kicked them out and they can just hear, but they can't speak. Can those people who have got the same problem just go out and join again, so that the system, you can then be able to participate? Thank you, Administrator. Let's continue.
Thank you, Chair. On the issue of accommodation, what we're doing now with human settlements, in particular any de-densification, any relocations, any new informal settlements, certainly the important thing, as the administrative team is saying, it's got to be a complete package. And sometimes finds is that there may be an area being developed, but there's no, people are put on there, but there's no cognizance of what's happening with the basic services. So, for example, even the certain projects that are happening in the Tshwane area, we're saying, no, you can't start building 15,000 units if you don't take adequate care of the basic services within your site. And if we don't have capacity as Tshwane outside, then you have to be part of a role player to ensure that you can't keep overloading a system. It's something we've put in place, and certainly any developments that's coming in is being looked at that. And that hence I mentioned the Lancea Smart City with that massive development that impacts on Tshwane on 4 wards on the right-hand side, on the top north side. We're saying we need an additional plant, and that's cognizance of that. Obviously, where we've got human settlements coming in now currently, what we're doing there is obviously seeing what is the capacity, for example, building of reservoirs. So we are addressing it. Maintenance, Honourable Member, I think maintenance is really what's critical. What we're saying certainly in the Rooiwal area is to say that part of the ERWAT scope of work is that, that on completion of this phase 1, there will be standard operating procedure manuals. There will be training, And then we are saying you need to have a full maintenance team on site, so dedicated maintenance team. And the intention is that they would then be able to maintain the plant on an ongoing basis. So that's certainly what's really critical to us. And part of the output of Rooival is exactly that. In terms of the budget for maintenance, and certainly Tshwane, as you would know, are going through some difficult financial issues. But we have allocated it. We have basic maintenance money, and certainly following my visit with Deputy Minister, we're reviewing it to commit additional budget for maintenance as part of this ongoing process. So we are part of that. In terms, Member Seki, in terms of the Tshwane is seriously considering with the DG and the department looking at all 15 plants plus the new potential one. And the reason it's critical, you talk about certainly Gauteng as a province, but nationally, possibly an audit or a possibility to see exactly what the impacts are of the deterioration of water waste treatment works. It has a negative impact on growth and negative impact on the community. So it's a critical post. In terms of the other area, in terms of maintenance based on refurbishment, so not necessarily the work that you're seeing at Rooival, but where we see a plant is just lacked maintenance, it might need to be refurbished. And what we're saying is that certainly in Tshwane, what we're putting forward to the city and to the lead administration is to look at how you divide your capital budget. There's a tendency that the capital budget will push out 80% or 60% into new work, and maintenance is minimized. We understand the pressures of the city, but what we have said certainly as the lead administrator to deal with infrastructure is to say we've got to be cognizant that when we take our budget, available budget, including the USDG, together with the department and together with all of those, to say what should be for new work and what should be for maintenance. Because as we know, in some areas we've still got asbestos pipes. They have not been replaced because the budget, when it's allocated, they put a little bit to replacement of piping, but they don't put in to do the whole refurbishment. So it becomes water leaks, it becomes loss of revenue. So it's a critical thing. Just the last thing on the security, Honourable Member Constance, if I'm not mistaken, security is a problem. Tshwane took the view that the vandalism of the Tshwane infrastructure, and let me be open on this one, it's not only about the basic infrastructure like the water plant, it's even buildings, even normal buildings. And what Tshwane have done, they've appointed, well, they didn't appoint, they took a unit which was part of the Tshwane Metro Police, and they've allocated them security of infrastructure, of Tshwane infrastructure, including private companies. Now, if I can indicate to yourselves, Chair and members, when there's an ability for people to be able to steal a transformer, the reality of it is that you can't have a single person guarding a transformer every day because there's many transformers in the city. Rooival is different because it's a big area and we can put people in there, and we've done a security assessment. But the reality is we need to be innovative and think of other methodologies of security systems, alarm systems, tamper-proof systems, that the infrastructure that's put in needs to be protected. So certainly the city is aware of that. We've committed some funds to first of all physical guarding, and also to try and look at innovation of how we do it. I thank you, Chair. Thank you, Deputy Minister.
Tembu.
Thank you, Chair. Apologies for that, Chair. We had a bit of a technical glitch. Maybe to start with the first comment, Chair. What are we doing as a department to the defaulting municipalities? Chair, after sending notices and directives, we move on to taking them to court. This is a step, Chair, that the committee intervened in I think it was late last year, when you urged the department to consider the IGR framework and work with Tshwane. Hence, we have such movement that we have today. It did not happen by itself. It was assisted by yourself, Chair, and the committee.
the challenge that we have, Chair, is that as we have realized on the wastewater, that we need to build internal capacity of the department. For a long time, Chair, we've been reliant on implementing agents and assisting in building their capacity. And the department did not necessarily look at a strategy of building that capacity so that we can spring into action as and when there are troubles in municipalities. And this is a strategy now, Chair, that is being built to ensure that we build that capacity in-house so that we can deal with the challenges that are happening throughout the country as wastewater is becoming a problem throughout, not only in Gauteng, but in other areas. The cooperatives document, Chair, will send it to yourself so that it can be noted. Chair will also send the, we had a bit of a technical glitch on the reports, Chair. We promised you that we'll send you monthly progress reports. We do apologize if they're not received, but they do exist. As such, we will just make sure, Chair, that it reaches you and it's acknowledged by your secretariat. The issue of Metsimahulu, Chair, there's been a pump station that has defaulted next to the Vaal River, and the team has been dispatched to go and do the assessment and the currently they are on site as we speak, engaging with those necessary authorities, and they will bring a directive, because we also learned about this thing middle of this week, and they will bring a directive so that the municipality can take action immediately. But yes, Chair, that is also in line with the question that you are raising around the polluter pays principle, that it needs to be implemented as a matter of agency, because the damage is already done. There need to be punitive measures. If you look at the NEMA regulations, National Environment Management Act regulations, there are some guidelines in terms of the punitive measures that could be taken, but we have not implemented it to the T in terms of the department. So we do need to take this seriously. This includes also punitive measures from all sorts of industries, agriculture, mining, as well as at the municipal level, so that we can get to recoup the investment that we'll be making to rehabilitate whatever that is damaged. As far as where we are now, as we're intervening in Mfuleni, it's still the national fiscus. We should actually be looking at the polluters taking the full responsibility for the damage that they've done. Honorable Ntseki, the communication strategy has been developed, particularly to assist us to send these good messages and the awareness messages to the communities. Because if you look at the Vaal, and primarily the communities are throwing things at the networks, at the main homes, and blocking the system. So we do need a strong drive on awareness in the community in terms of how to manage and take care of the infrastructure that they benefit from. I mean, it includes the issues around, if you, as you went there, Chair, there are informal settlements that is developing around the plant. And that is a hazard, Chair. And we do need to be looking in terms of those things. We do have a communication strategy though, that we'll be implementing to ensure that the community awareness is raised in there. We do accept the support that the committee is giving in terms of the METI being capacitated as a standalone. There is, however, Chair, as it was mentioned by members, that we do need some support politically from all parties as the document is going to go to council. Because if council takes a decision that METI's functions should remain in-house, Chair will be doomed. So it's we do need that support from yourselves so that we can get the document through and get METI to be a fully standalone entity that we can start to build its capacity and ensuring that it does its business. We note, Chair, the assessments, and we will be fast tracking that process that was started by the Deputy President, so that we could get to the full picture and the cost element that is involved in ensuring that we fix all the wastewater works around the Vaal River. The Chair, Honorable Tafeni, if it was possible, we will invite the members to come and see the Randfontein wastewater works. It's the wastewater works that we just finished the refurbishment. It's operating, spanking. The E. coli count is less than 1. I know it's unbelievable, but it's less than 1. We have tested it 3 times just to ensure that we get the accurate results. It's been refurbished through the department to ensure that it's functioning very well. Chair, maybe we did take some videos of the launch and the process. We can send it to the committee so that you can just at least appreciate the work that we have done. What we have done in Randfontein is exactly what we want to do in the Vaal, to get all those wastewater works to function, also to have some benefits. We use the same model, Chair, of taking the community in the Randfontein. They were trained on how to operate and maintain the plant. We are just hoping now that the municipality is going to take them on and employ them so that they can manage that plant. It was a completely dysfunctional plant. When the minister launched it, the mayors were there. They could attest to the fact that it was a dysfunctional plant. If I move on, Chair, on the support on the Mfuleni, Chair, the district is playing a very key role in terms of this district development model. The district is coordinating the committees of the Mfuleni MMCs of infrastructure and services, as well as the MMCs for the districts and other municipalities, Lesedi as well as Midvaal. In the last political steering committee, a decision was taken that all the MMCs, so that we meet every second week, and we look at the progress and ensure that there is a coordination at the district level, and ensure that there are problems that does not have to wait for the accounting officers or the political steering committee. So that model is working very well, Chair. In fact, it has been already requested by West Rand that they need the same structure, because we have started working on this thing for over 3 months now, and it's yielding good results. We can deal with the problems immediately where they happen. The issue of security, Chair, it cannot be overstated. The security, we need to bring in some high-tech security instruments, including cameras, including the lighting in the pump stations and in the plants themselves, including some alarm systems, so that we can bring some sense of security into infrastructure. Imagine, Chair, we're investing R1 billion, and we don't want to come back in 5 years when the equipment is lost and the electrical cables have been stolen. So there is an issue there, Chair, that we do need to take on as the intervention team. On the national key point, Chair, we have put up an application, Chair. It's sitting with SAPS. They've escalated from province to national so that we can get some decision, Chair. Maybe in the next meeting, Chair, we'll be reporting good news there. It's been a while. When we followed up about 2 weeks ago, we were told that they were disrupted by COVID and COVID-related activities, so they could not conclude on the national key point. The assumption was that everybody would be at home, and therefore we could pick up when we started to open up in June again on level 3. So, Chair, they are working on it. The application is sitting with SAPS. We'll wait for the results. Maybe we'll report in the next meeting. I'll stop there, Chair, for now. Oh, yeah. Chair, the last point is on the, we do some monitoring, Chair, on the along the Vaal River. So all the gauging stations are being managed by the department in terms of monitoring the volume of water. Chair, these are very important instruments, particularly if you have an extreme event in terms of weather. It does give us early warning in terms of flooding that is possible in the areas. So we do maintain them, and they're being run by the department. And however, the gauging stations will not necessarily tell us the pollution as yet. We are not at that level, and I do take the point that we may need to up our game in terms of having some detection of pollutants in our rivers. There is technology to monitor this, but we are not there yet, Chair. In fact, the Dinesville pollution, if we had been at that level, it could have been detected by the gadgets and they would have told us what is happening, but we're not there yet. As time progresses, hopefully we'll get to that level. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much, Tembu DG.
Chairperson, at this stage, we will hand over to Deputy Minister, except to state one point that in the steering committee, we work with all the municipalities in that district, including the Sedibeng district municipality. Chairperson, on the actual key point, our target is to go to the security cluster of the DGs and present not just the VAL, all the other assets that we are managing, which we think should be classified as part of the national key point. This matter was raised by the chairperson of the security cluster of the DGs. I'll now hand over to the Deputy Minister. Thank you very much.
Chairperson, Your Excellency, thank you very much. And let's just say on behalf of the ministry and the team, let's thank yourselves, Honorable Chair and members. Firstly, to indicate that your visit to these important areas in Tshwane and Mfuleni, you did actually strengthen us. After your visit, including the visit by the Deputy President and the Minister and myself on some of these areas, there's been a very good cooperation, Chair. And you will recall, like other members were saying, initially, there was a reluctance. There was a reluctance by certain officials, including at a local level, in terms of working together. But we must be on record that even before the council in Tshwane was dissolved by the province, they started cooperating. But we must also indicate that after the province took over the whole governance of Tshwane through the Section 139 intervention, we have been working well with the Office of the Premier and in particular the MEC. And the administrators are very supportive. And in part, we should be able to say thank you very much to giving that weight to insist that water can't be politicized. Chairperson, the members are raising an important issue, all of them, around the question of vandalization, the issues of criminality. And I must be able to thank the number of views that you are giving us, because sometimes these matters are not only security related, but they are also societal. Honorable Comrade Constance is correct when she says the issues of the best defense around these assets in the main is to mobilize communities. And one of the aspects that we learned through this job creation initiative that has happened at Mfuleni, it helps a lot that the community does have an ownership. But it does not necessarily mean that communities must be able to threaten government or to hold government at ransom. Then the issues that have to deal with the issues of these demands. It's a government policy that there should be promotion of small, medium, micro enterprises, including the issues of communities that are directly and indirectly affected by a project. That we must work, but we have to be able to frown upon those that seeks to come and demand the 30% of whatever the total amount without actually even doing the job. In certain instances, these criminals, because these are just criminals, organized crime, they will come in, they will demand a 30%, but they will not even do the job. They will still be able to sit their 30%, which is also criminal and including issues of fronting. And we've seen these instances where there's a disruption of some of these projects. We are working very well. The DG sit in net joints and the security cluster, and even in the movement where I also sit in peace and stability, we are discussing these issues because remember, Parliament managed to pass in the last fifth Parliament a law that criminalizes the issues of ferocous and non-ferocous issues of theft, because it has become the biggest issue, the issues of ferocous and non-ferocous, including cable theft. And we should be able to do that. Apart from that, honorable members, we are looking at issues of technology because you can put the boots on the ground. It means the money that must be used to develop, manage, including operations and maintenance of the infrastructure, all that money will be diverted into security issues. We can't be that particular kind of a country and should be able to allow to do that. Therefore, the issues of using satellite images, if there's a disturbance or an interference with infrastructure, we should be able to detect to deal with some of those issues because technology is the best mechanism we can be able to use. But technology alone will not be able to work as long as we don't involve communities that are affected. Only communities that feel that they are party, yeah, there is a benefit and a business case, we should be able to deal with that one. Honorable Pasoni, thank you very much for alerting us to this important issue around pollution that continues. Honorable members, as I was indicating, most of the interventions that we are doing now, we must admit that they are long overdue. The damage to the environment at this point is immeasurable. We cannot even be in a point even to try to quantify. If we are going to be pumping sludge into our river courses, including our dams, it creates a segmentation. I don't even know how much thick that segmentation is, whether in the Val, whether in the Hartes Biesport Dam, all these other rivers that we've polluted in our country. And it's a serious matter. Therefore, one of the issues that has always been a problem, and we need to be able to indicate to you, Chair, we have tried to revive the water resource protection team so that we can protect the water resource, because South Africa, at a particular point, we are going to have water, but the water that we'll have will never be fit for use or human consumption because of the issues of pollution, mostly in Gauteng, where the system is well developed. The anti-pollution task team has agreed with yourselves during our budget vote the last time, under the guidance of the minister. We have established the team in all provinces right now. They've actually looked at some of the major issues, for an example, that our laboratories, they should all be functional, including laboratories that are used by municipalities and our own entities, so that they are actually part of accreditation by the South African Bureau of Standards, because some of them, they were not in a position to have that particular capability, because if they are non-SABS compliance, you cannot be able to go to court and be able to produce the water samples or the results that you have actually taken out of the water sampling and be able to use them so that you can be in a position, Chair, to present them as an evidence in court. That matter is being attended to so that the issues of quality assurance, they are attended to as a matter of urgency. In the provinces, we've tried to re-establish the team, even in terms of the organizational realignment right now and restructuring. We're trying to get that particular function. And we're working very closely with the Department of Environmental Affairs, Forestry and Fisheries, because of the relationship that exists with the National Environmental Management Act, but also the Department of Minerals Energy, because the impact of mining, especially if you look around Mpumalanga, Limpopo, Northwest, and certain parts of Gauteng, the acid mine drainage. Therefore, the issues of pollution, we're dealing with them. The issues around the measurement instrument, the gadgets, the gauging stations, and the ability that they must not only take river flows, but even the chemical pollution contamination, we are working on that one. Sludge management, Honorable Pasoni, is very important. Many of the municipalities, they continue to dispose the sludge into either certain pits. There is a high level that if we don't do our compliance monitoring and enforcement, they will pollute groundwater. If you look at the pictures that we have circulated, we'll be able to go there even unannounced, because as I was saying, it doesn't matter that these municipalities were supporting them, but we can't allow them to pollute because it has an impact on human life chain. On issues, how many done cases, I'm told at this stage, Chair, there are more than 17 cases. I remember I went even to Delmas in Victor Kanye in my own province, where we opened a case against the mayor. And even I was telling my friends, the administrators in Tshwane, that we must be able to start to look now, who are we going to be in a position that we should be able to do that. We have also opened, there are a number of pollution cases and directives Abomtembu they've issued. Metsimahulu, Chair, is one of the municipalities, you know, it continues to pollute the valley, despite that incident that has happened, because when you go through Free State, and then you go to Northwest, including going down to Northern Cape, until you reach Namibia, it's a problem. Apart from this one that you see this side. But we'll want to come and share with you, Chair, as a committee, our waste discharge charge system, because as we are saying, Chairperson, polluters must pay. That policy in terms of water use charges, not only the raw water you were dealing with the other time about water boards, we are actually concluding that we'll go to Cabinet and we'll be able to come and share with the committee so that we can be able to put the quantum for the prosecution, that how much money they should be able to pay. Well, we also want to thank you about commending about the good work that has been done. The issue that has been raised about the work that the Deputy President has done, will be able to conduct the assessment. VAL is going to be our most important point, but Northwest is suffering from the pollution, Chair. We'll also include your artists. Remember, you always complain, honorable person normally complains is from breads. Normally in breads, their water is so polluted. There was a time when even yourselves, Chair, you were very shocked because they're receiving low quality water and their treatment cost is impacting on them, including the energy and what they need to be able. I'm happy that, Chairperson, for the first time, after your guidance as a committee, we have insisted that we must demonstrate jobs created. I'm very happy that you could see the work in, Mfuleni. In the monthly reports you need, we'll also demonstrate when it comes to the issues of Tshwane, Chair. Those are some of the issues, Chairperson, that I thought we should be able to do. I will invite Comrade Fighter Muhlala so that we can go to Roy Valley so that you can see the progress. I know that the Chairperson at a particular point, you might want to do some follow-ups, but there is indeed progress there because if you want to see it, I was very impressed, but admittedly, more work still needs to be done in that particular space. But we still have a long way to achieve our ideas that those people in Tshwane, they do have clean water. But at this stage, as we said initially, they are receiving clean water through the other means, though it is on a short-term basis. Chairperson, I will stop there without repeating some of the issues that the DG and the team have done. I hope that even if the administration is gone, Gilberto is doing a very good job there. We will be able to ensure, Mashiko, that they do skills transfer, stabilize that internal water function in Tshwane and both Emfuleni, like this Mezilikwa that we are talking about, because you don't want when people they start to leave the system chair, the system they collapse again.
Thank you very much, DM and your team. Honorable members, that was the response. We still have some few minutes. If there is any follow-ups that members wants to make, you're welcome, honorable members.
Can I hear, Chair, sorry, I don't have the thing to raise my hand. Can I hear the minister on the carrot and stick? I said to the report that I only observed or heard the carrot. Where's the stick?
Okay. Can we note? No. Can we note it, Chair, just to get other follow-up so that you can respond all of them? Honorable Musala.
I'm still okay for now. Thank you.
Okay, when let's all thank you very much. Yes, honorable member. All right, thank you.
Chair, with regard to the progress report, I see 30 days monthly reports being very little to them, and it will not allow them to, so is it possible that we get the progress report with, they be packaged with the quarterly reports of the department? 3 months, I think it will be fine for them, so that we can be able to see progress in terms of what they have done. The monthly report is too little, it's too minimal. Chair.
Okay, if we withdraw that, honorable member, because it's us who said we want a monthly report, particularly in Tshwane. So I'm happy that you are raising it. Let's get the members to confirm that, because it was our, and we've seen it does not work.
Yes.
Yes, yeah. I think it's very important that you have raised. Any other member? Okay, DM and the team, as you deal with issues of security, one of the things that the portfolio committee on police were dealing with is the credibility of the security companies in the country that we have. I want to suggest that as you appoint securities, we should vet even the individual people that are going to work in the system. We should not vet the companies, because you have the law that says if a person has been charged before or found guilty of criminal activities, that person is not allowed to work in the system. But majority of these people, they get access through security companies. So I think as we're going, and that's when you end up having security companies that does not secure our infrastructure, and they they collide with the criminal syndicates. So, so in what we have learned in what is that municipalities? Merafong municipality was that it was very clear that it's a syndicate, and they end up actually resolving to those high-tech security measures. So I think it will be very important. I know that there are good security companies in the country, but they are bad individuals that have been appointed in those securities. And we should then be, as we vet, because usually the vetting is meant on the company, we should vet even the individuals that are going to operate in the system, so that we prevent these crimes that can be made. Can we get a response, DM,
Yeah.
on the...
Okay.
No, thank you, Chair.
DM come, Chair.
Oh, there's somebody in the mid. Who's that?
It's myself.
Okay, Honorable Masala.
No, I just want to check. The Roy Val was built in 1956. And then the second project, I think, was done in 1974, 72 or 74. And then the system is only, the capacity of the system is only for 84,000. According to the presentation, population have now grown to 143,000. And it's growing. In the coming years, the population is growing every now and then. So what is the plan of the partners so that we don't experience the same problem going forward? What is the plan out of this whole thing that I just emphasized now?
Unmute, Chair.
Thank you. Let's start with you, Administrator, to respond, and then follow the same route that we have taken before.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you. I will respond. I'll start with the question we just, in terms of capacity and the Roy Val. Yes, Honourable Member, the Roy Val, the surrounding areas, the capacity, certainly the settlements and the human settlement development in that area have increased. There's 4 phases, and the first phase you're seeing at the moment, Honourable Member, is really to get the system up and running. However, by the time you get to the end of phase 4, the capacity will have been increased relative to creating additional capacity within the system. But that's only sitting at phase 4. Phase 1 is the rehabilitation. Phase 2 is to get a more effective delivery and obviously of the elements. But phase 3 and 4 then will be to capacitate the overall development to allow for those developments that have come in those particular areas around that area, plus the further ones which would be going to be looked at. So certainly in Tshwane, we are looking at the development of human settlements. Obviously, as the township developments are proclaimed, as they are registered, we're looking at to see what the impact will be on the current structure. And obviously, as I said earlier on, in some instances, we are saying that you cannot put 30,000 units down just like that and discharge into our particular sewer line, or even to tap off our water line. So every new human settlement development, plus obviously the ones that are existing, are being monitored, and hence the program to look at all 15 of them. That's critical. It's not just Roy Val, it's wherever settlement and these areas are growing. Chair, just lastly, I think there was an issue raised about reports. My sincere apologies. I wasn't aware that the reports were required to be sent to the committee. This morning, I did send the last weekly report, which Obviously, I wasn't expecting, but I did send it this morning, and also I sent it to the DG, to the DDG, and I also sent the entire program for the committee to monitor. So it's from start to finish. All the kind of work has got to be done. And if there's any other reports that are required, if I can be just informed, including Mr. Basson, I've already phoned to check up on that issue that you raised. I'm happy to follow up. Thank you, Chair.
Chair, unmute.
Velas, yes, come in and even the respond on the vessels that are in Val, which are using oil as part of their movement because they are polluting. What is it that you're going to do about them?
Thank you, Chair. Maybe just to start with the addition to what Gilberto was reporting on. I think, Chair, there is a plan that we're working on with the city on looking at the 15 wastewater works to look at the refurbishment of all of the works, plus looking at the upgrade so that we can create more capacity. As the Honorable Member was saying, that the city is growing. As a result, we need to ensure that what we have is operational, plus we create more capacity going forward so that we can cover some of the growth issues around the city. And also, we're looking at the issues of technologies. There's been a number of growth in the industry around the technologies that could be used in wastewater. That technology needs to be brought into the space of wastewater, not only in the city, but throughout the country. Chairperson, the issue of the pollution on the boats is a serious issue. For now, we do have low usage of the Vaal River due to the pollution that we have. But as we clean it, we're going to see the increase, and with that will come the oil spillages and any other pollution that comes as a result of the river being used. This is an area that, Chair, we jointly working with DIA, what is it called now? The Department of Environmental Affairs and Forestry, in terms of the pollution that actually emanates from there. So that it's not only affecting the polluting the river, but also affecting the aquatic life in the river system. So that, Chair, is an issue that we're working on. The issue on the vetting of the security. I will speak on the current security. I think in Rooiwal, there's a use of the metro, which is quite fairly working very well. But in the Vaal, we do have also private security. They were vetted, Chair, but rightfully so, we do need to strengthen the vetting process because as we vet the companies, the individuals also need to be vetted. And as the individuals change, because people move within the company, they also need to be subjected to the same thing. Because we do have, from time to time, get some criminal elements trying to infiltrate the system. So, Chair, the issue of the reports, Chair, will certainly be happy with the monthly report as well as the quarterly reports. Either way, as the committee decides, we'll ensure this time, Chair, that we comply. We do apologize for the delays that were caused on our side in how we're sending the reports, but we'll fix it, Chair. Thank you very much.
Somebody's meeting. GM.
Thanks, Chair.
DG, where's DG? Let's not jump the accounting officer. This man has got yes.
Is covered.
Okay, thank you very much.
The DG and Mtembu, they are misbehaving. There's no social distance there.
Oh,
I'm
Can they switch
reporting
on
them
their
in
camera?
Parliament.
Can they switch on their camera?
No, thank you very much, Your Excellency, Comrade Chair. On the security matters, we take your guidance. As a former security officer myself, to vet only the company chair, we are correct, is not actually sufficient. Some of the individuals that are there, they are a security risk themselves.
It's 50.
No, they're a real security risk, but we always have to have someone who must guide the guidance. That's why the issues of the eyes in the sky and the use of technology will be very important. And will then ask the DG that even when we advise municipalities, but including in our own assets, remember we also have a huge asset-based chair that we must also be in a position to look at. I think, Honorable Mutlala, you have been answered by Gilberto on the issues around the plans that are there. The mistake we made is that we never invested a lot in terms of the upgrade when we expanded access to services to those people who had no services before. And we went very fast in terms of not only in Tshwane, it's a phenomenon, Honorable Mhlala, through you, Chair. It's happening all over the country. People, they put new settlements there. They put settlement, the bulk infrastructure is not there. Sometimes people, when they think about bulk infrastructure, they think we're talking about the distribution network. But we also talk about serious network, which is issues about treatment plants, including weather treatment plants, whether is it for raw water or for wastewater. This is what we did with Tshwane. That's why it was the wisdom that of the president to say, let's be in a position to ensure that there is even alignment in departments, because it's been a problem. And you could also look at the issue that the Lanseria new city that must be developed. One of the things that we're starting to look at now is an integrated way of bulk infrastructure, rather than an infrastructure that belongs to one municipality, when we need to run them as integrated systems so that you can get the economies of scales. The issues of funding becomes much easier. But in all of them, as we're saying, Chairperson, we want to run them as water reclamation plant. We can't continue to have these issues where sludge is being disposed, pollution is being caused. There are technologies that sludge must be converted into issues of gas in terms of methane, including hydrogen, so that you can reduce the cost of just treatment of water. But at the very same time, it can also be used around communities there for agriculture as an input, including pharmaceuticals. Therefore, we are very correct that there is a serious backlog. And all these wastewater treatments works we are complaining about in the country. In the main, people, they think it's a problem of operations and maintenance, but the reality, all of them are operating beyond capacity. We're pushing them to the limit. You can't drive a very beautiful car. I don't know which car can I make an example, but a very beautiful car, and you drive it in a gravel, and you think that it's a mechanical work and electronics are going to continue to work. That's what we do. That's why we say to Tshwane, they can spend so much money on phase 1, but as long as we don't actually start with building with the phase 4, which is the actual of the upgrade, the augmentation of the scheme, they will get that system working. But I can tell you, as long as we are going to be pumping more than 20 million liters a day, more than what it was designed for, the system is going to collapse when you do your hydraulics and your electronical engineering. When you look at that particular point, as I was saying, we are absolutely correct. But comrades, I know that you want us to carry a no-kiri, the stick part of it. We'll have to tighten some of the regulation, because if people are making a mistake, Chair, like we're saying, there's an incident of a spill. Sometimes this administrative process, you must write a letter over so many days. We call it a notice. That's the first step, and it's taking long. I can tell you the damage is done. From that point, you must write a directive. After the directive, you must go and open up a case. We are looking at how do we streamline these issues because the damage is happening. But I can indicate to you, Honorable Comrade Zeki, that we have been in a position to open up cases that have been really been opened right now. There are 17 as I speak. There are actually issues of even court orders that have been able to go there. But I must be able to caution that in as much as we're trying to use the stick approach, we also have to prepare the justice system to be able to prosecute environmental related matters. How does an evidence that you get in the lab becomes admissible? And then there's also these issues that if our system, like Chair, you were talking about the telemetry, our laboratories are not actually in good conditions or audited, that information gets to be taken out. Therefore, our pollution task team is working with the Justice and Criminal CCA cluster right now so that we can be able to do that. But we're not scared to actually move. As I said, so that people can't say we're targeting certain provinces and making it an issue that is politically. That's why, Chair, we chose to go to my own home in an ANC-run municipality in Delmas, where the sewer has been causing a mess. And Tshwane were very close because we had already opened a case. We're going to court with them. And I said to them, in as much as we're very happy with the quality of work they do, but what Honorable Person has shown us, we cannot be an accomplice in law. We will give them enough leadership, I can promise. And there will be a number of them, whether it's an ANC-run municipality or whether it's run by another party, we will act without any fear or favor. Probably we'll have to speak to the Minister of Justice so that our cases, they can get a special way of treatment, not a special court, but at least that they can be enrolled much faster because sometimes they take time. Well, big companies, Chair, they are able to challenge us. We also have to build the capacity legal in the department and in the sector because those that have the best money is Chair. If we send very Mickey Mouse, some people that are not well read in terms of the legal fraternity, will be able to lose those cases. But let's be given a chance and be able to demonstrate this is our strategy, this is an action, but the most important principle, Chair, is the waste discharge charge system, that particular police, so that at least we know how much money or quantum that the courts can be able to give as a fine, because you can give a fine, but if it's a small fine, others, they'll be able to pay it, and then they will continue to pollute. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, DM and your team. Honorable members.
Chair?
Yes, Honorable Musala.
No, before we close, we have questions that we requested the committee to reply through the secretary. But we are not getting them. We're not getting the responses. Previously, I requested a breakdown of service providers and prices from respective regional offices in procuring the PPEs. We have not yet
on
received.
water and sanitation, Honorable Masala.
No, I'm speaking to the department.
Yes, I'm saying on water. Water and sanitation, yes, yes. But we have given them 7 days. It's not yet finished.
Yeah, and then there are questions that we always forward in this committee. We have not yet. I understand with this one, 7 days. It's been months, 4 months, 5 months. Previously, you even requested us to forward the questions again to police so that we can do responded. I did that, and we did not get any. So can please request for us so that the department can take us serious? Can we get the responses on those questions? Thank you.
Okay, honorable member, I don't know which ones. That's why I was talking about the 7 days. I think Koliswa is not here. I'll check with Koliswa those whether we have not received those responses and then follow up them. I think in the next meeting we might have good report around that. That if indeed there was no response, I think department they would have to respond. You know what I don't like, DM and the team. It's for anybody to commit in the meeting that will send the report and not do that and wait for us to follow up on them. It's not right. If you commit in any meeting that you're going to bring a report, you're going to submit whatever document, please do that immediately, because if you postpone it, you're going to forget and it's become a problem. I'll ask the team of Parliament to look at those questions, and then we resend them if there is no answers, and then members will then get their response. And if there is no response, and then it should be mentioned that there is no response, so that we are able to move forward. But quietness, it's really the problem. So can we agree on that, DM and your team?
Chair, definitely we agree, and me and the DG will follow through, supported by our support staff that deals with PLO issues, and so that any misstep should be corrected.
Okay, thank you very much, DM and your team. We will get Koliswa to identify those questions again and send it to you again, and then in the next meeting, they must be advanced in the next meeting, which is because Koliswa is not here. It would not be Tuesday. By next week Friday, honorable members would make sure that those questions are being handed over to yourselves through the secretary of the committee. Thank you very much, honorable members. This is the end of our meeting, and have a good weekend. Thank you very much. The meeting stands adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Comrade Chair.
Yes. Yes.
I will phone you. Let's go and do an operation this weekend in your province.